What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel, man. Today we're gonna be working on the wagon some more, but I've been sitting here doing some research for some time, and while we were working on the firewall on the wagon, I wanted to do the brake master and booster setup as well too. Probably not today anymore because nobody here locally has a brake booster in stock. And I do have a brake master right here. This is a 1516. We are going to be switching over because I am really tired of the brake booster delete. Let me show you guys. This right here has been in my wagon since 2013 when I first B-Series boosted it. And honestly, I don't even know how I tolerated this all of these years, man. Super harsh in the leg and really hard to stop the car if you don't have like a big brake setup. So now that I'm rebuilding the car, I am just going to get rid of this altogether out of the car. It's probably just going to be a wall ornament at this point. And I'm going to be switching back over to factory brake master and booster. And because the wagon has an 11-inch rotor with ITR calipers, I am going to be running the bigger master 1516s. And this, I believe, comes off the EX model. The DA also has one, but the pattern right here is flip-flop, so you can't use a DA one on a Civic booster. Now, I don't want to go with a DA booster because it is much larger, and because I'm right-hand drive, I don't want to push the master too close to the VTEC solenoid. So I'm trying to find a Civic booster in stock locally, and so far, no luck. In a previous video, we reinforced my subframe and we sent it off to get powder coated, and we also pulled out the dashboard from the wagon to pull the pedal assembly out to get it ready for the new hydro conversion, which we're going to be doing today. This right here is my pedal assembly for my right-hand drive wagon. Specific to the right-hand drive, they are not the same with the USD-M, and funny enough, my right-hand drive firewall came automatic, so I had to source this on eBay. This pedal assembly is actually an EF sedan, an EF2 from overseas. I did make it work, but there was a stud that kind of interfered, and I had to drill it out right there to make it sit flat on the firewall. Nonetheless, every other bolt does line up, and this right here had been converted to full hydro when I went K in 2015. Now, I don't know how or why I did it this way. I did build this off flux core because that's all I had, and now looking at it, I don't know why it's crooked like that. This is supposed to be straight up, and all of these years my clutch has always worked, but it always felt funny. So because we are rebuilding the car, I ended up buying a new kit that is specific for a right-hand drive chassis, and I really just want to make the clutch and brake feel normal when I drive the wagon again. So let's go ahead and grab the package and unbox it with you guys. As mentioned, this package came from Australia, and I want to give a big shout out to Mark for getting this out so quickly. He goes by ED Conversion on Instagram, and they make EF right-hand drive specific hydro conversion. Full hydro conversion, no adapter, no stock clutch cable, full hydro conversion for right-hand drive EF. I finally bit the bullet and bought it because their price is very reasonable for the most part because of all the brand new stuff that comes in here, and I really just want my wagon to feel normal with driving it on the street. So let's go ahead and open this up and show you guys everything that's inside. I'm gonna go ahead and just open this upside down, guys. Remember, always cut away from yourself, not towards yourself. Oh my, ooh. Whew. I'm gonna go ahead and just take everything out of the box and show you guys everything individually. It is optional if you want to order the kit with lines or the clutch master and stuff. I opt to just get everything in one package so I don't have to do the running around. So we have the stainless steel clutch line. I also got a brand new S2000 clutch master that they also provided. OEM, that's freaking awesome. What I like about this kit, based off all the photos they have online, is that it comes with its own pedal assembly. This is like literally brand spanking new. Look at that. Pretty sick. EFED right there. This kit right here mounts the clutch master on the engine bay side, which allows you for easy accessibility of everything. That's freaking neat. This right here is the billet adapter that sits on the firewall, and it fits the contour of the right-hand drive firewall, so it's a snug fit. And then the clutch master sits on this side. You bolt it all up to give it the correct length. This is cool. This is a really nice piece. We have another billet adapter, and this one actually has their logo on it. So I'm assuming that this is the engine bay side of the Firewall. And then this one is on the inside of the car. We're gonna have to figure out how this mounts up. So that's cool. We have a little bracket in this one. I need to figure out what this goes to. It might be a support bar or something. I've been sitting here for a cool minute trying to figure out where all the hardware goes, and there's no instructions with the kit. There's no like thorough instruction as far as installation or any installation videos online. The website does have like a little segment of what you need to modify on the Firewall to make this plate fit nice and snug, right? So I'm trying to figure out, like, what is this? I don't know what this is. This little extension piece, right? I know the bolt probably goes through this hole, right? And it bolts to the billet bracket as a third, like, I guess third supporting bolt. I don't know what this is. 3D printed. I have no idea what that is. I don't know if this is supposed to be like, I'm just guessing here. I don't know if this is supposed to like align your drill bit or something. I mean, kind of makes sense, right? Little center dot, drill it through. This bracket, I don't know where it goes. I don't know which way it's supposed to hang. I don't know if there's any hardware that belongs to it, or if we're using the OEM stuff that's in the car. This pin, oddly enough, doesn't actually just like slide into the pedal itself. Because if you look, the hole for the clevis doesn't actually fully expose itself to put the pin through, right? Because the pin has a lip on it. So it doesn't actually like slide in as easy as you would think it should. It literally just stops and catches on the lip right there. So I would have to pull the pedal off and install it, which there's no return spring, so I could just unbolt it, put the pin in, and then bolt it back in. So I guess I'm just gonna wing it and install this however I think it's easier for me to do it. So I'm going to drill the hole on the Firewall from the engine bay side. So I'm going to use the engine bay side adapter, which is the black unit. The silver one goes on the inside, and this fits perfectly to the contour of the Firewall where it needs to sit. It doesn't fit anywhere else. The way they CNC'd it out is it only fits in one spot. So on the website, it does have some photos of how to install it. This right here shows you what you need to remove and cut. So on the right-hand drive Firewall, there's a fuel filter that sits underneath the clutch cable hole. So you need to remove that bracket. And it says if you wanted to, you can remove this line as well too. This goes to the fuel tank. It's like the breather tube. On my car, I've already removed all that. So I don't even have that fuel filter bracket or that little barb that comes out of here, right? So this right here fits perfectly on the Firewall in that spot. Label facing up, obviously. And look, snug. It doesn't even move. It doesn't go anywhere. It literally is fitted up nice and snug all around. So this right here, I think is just going to align everything all together right off the rip, right? So I need to figure out the hole saw size. So this little green piece is a 3D printed alignment tool. It fits perfectly in this hole, right? So when you align this to the Firewall, this will mark out the center for you to start your drill bit. So this right here, I'm gonna go ahead and measure it. This is 1.38. I don't know if you guys can see that, 1.38. I don't have a hole saw that's 1.38. I do have a 1.5. This one right here, this is 1.5. So I'm gonna go ahead and reset it. 1.46, 1.47, almost 1.5. Now it is a little bit bigger than the alignment tool, so I don't want to oversize it if I don't need to, but I also don't want to go to the store right now. I do have the step bit drill bit from Harbor Freight, and I'm measuring out the last one right here. It's actually pretty close to the alignment tool. 1.37. This one is 1.36. So it looks like I'm going to use this, although the front half of it is all chewed up already. I'm really just trying to get to this top right here and, you know, cut through that firewall without tearing up the paint too much. Check this out. Snug fit. This is one of those jobs where you got to measure 1,000 times before you commit to cutting a hole or making modifications to an area that you can't turn back on. I'm a little scared, I ain't gonna lie, but the way the kit is designed, it literally only fits one way. There's no way you can mess it up. So what I'm doing is I'm putting tape on here so that way the drill bit and stuff don't pull paint more than it needs to. I'm gonna go ahead and insert this alignment tool, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply a little bit of pressure to the adapter, find that sweet spot, right? And I'm putting pressure on it right now. You can see my fingertips are turning white, and I'm like moving it around, because if it's not moving around, that means the adapter is definitely snugged up on the contour of the firewall, and I'm pretty sure that's where it's going to sit. So I'm gonna go ahead and just flush up the alignment tool down a little bit more. That should mark my hole to drill. Oh, that is so legit. That is so freaking legit. All right, so before I move inside of the car, I'm gonna go ahead and peel this tape off, dab some primer with a Q-tip, and throw some paint on it just so that it's not open metal. It is a freshly painted engine bay. I don't want rust to form up way too quickly. So I'm gonna go ahead and just prep that a little bit, and then we'll move inside the car. I finally got a response from Mark, and he told me that the instruction was sent to my email. So I found it right here, full installation guide, and everything that I had thought was correct. This right here is a little coupler. It's supposed to attach to the clevis to extend it enough to reach the pedal, since we are running a bunch of adapters. So I know what that is for now. Okay, now the little support bracket, there's an image right there for where this is supposed to go, so that's good. I'll read through that when we get to it, and that's the full diagram of how everything is supposed to be mounted. So if you have the Auto Aircon on the website install info, you go to page 3. Page 3 kind of talks about the climate control servo motor, and it's going to interfere with the pedal assembly. So I either have to set the vents to be in the position I want it to be, then remove the box, or modify the heck out of that box to be able to squeeze the pedal in place. So we'll get to that when we get to it, but that is noted. They said to use Loctite on the coupler, which is for the clevis. We're going to make adjustments to the clevis once everything is installed into the car. I think the dashboard might be the very last thing to put back in. I just want to make sure that we can adjust everything accordingly before we install the dashboard back into the car. Although this is easily accessible from underneath the dashboard if it was installed. Got some tape holding that up. Let's go inside and see where this lands. You can already see the servo is interfering with the clutch master rod. So it looks like I'm gonna have to just remove it altogether. I'm gonna leave it hanging around for right now because I want to put the pedal on, see how the spacing looks. If I can modify to keep it, I will. If I can't, we'll just remove it, not a big deal. Because I literally can still access this right here, and I don't know, I can make like a lever or something and just manually adjust that. I don't know. So this goes on like that. Okay, so it's kind of teeter-tottering a little bit, but I know why. So I don't know if you guys can see this. I welded this in here a long time ago, and it literally looks like bird poop. So what it's hitting is all those welds you see right there. So I need to grind all of that down, and I got the perfect tool for the job. This guy right here. Oh, look at that. Almost flushed. Almost flushed. Look at that. Fit up really nicely on the firewall. And you're probably wondering why there's so many blue tape in here. I taped all the holes up, and I didn't want overspray to come inside the car, and also because I don't have a lot of grommets for the firewall. So when I painted it, the tape is painted on the engine bay side, and if I'm not using the hole, I'll just leave the tape there so I kind of block and blend the holes that are not being used. So right now, before I put the pedal assembly on, the other step is to modify this bracket right here in the corner. It looks like a hole that's not being used, so I'm probably just going to cut off the corner, then clean it up a little bit. Before I finalize everything, I will dab up some paint right there to cover up all the bare metal. All right, so this is the pedal assembly. It's pretty cool. They designed this to be like the EGs and the EKs, where the clutch pedal is separated from the full pedal assembly. And literally, you can just remove this by itself if you ever needed to. It's literally just 2 screws, or 3, the one in the center. But I'll go ahead and just align this into place. Somewhat like that. It is kind of ovaled on the hole, so it does have a little bit of adjustability. It's good to know. So I took the bracket off and I trimmed this top section a little bit more, and I also painted it black, right? And right now I'm going to go ahead and install the support bracket, which is this guy. In the instruction, it says the notch right here, this angle is the one that goes to the firewall stud, which is this guy. And this one goes to the big bolt that holds the pedal in place. Now, I did take off the entire pedal and the bolt entirely because the bolt was actually inserted this way, right? And I showed you guys earlier that the pin had a hard time going into the pedal itself for the clevis, and that I have to remove this bolt in order to bring the pedal down a little bit to put the pin through the clevis, right? But if I have this completely mounted in place, this bolt doesn't come out to allow the pedal itself to drop. So I took it off to insert it this way, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the pin and the clip, which is this guy here and this guy here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the pedal back in. Right here, guys, we have the full hydro pedal assembly installed. We have both the adapters on the Firewall, the S2K clutch master installed with the clevis attached to the pedal. We have the support bracket on the top. All the adjustments for the clevis and the stopper right here, I'll adjust it later. There is a little segment on the instructions on how to set that accordingly. Before I get to the pedal assembly, there's one more thing I need to install. Right here we have the little block off for the hole that the old clutch cable used to come through, which is right there. And it's pretty simple. It has a bolt, an offsetted washer, then this unit with the O-ring is right there. This simply slides in just like that, right? This should have been the first thing to be installed because the pedal assembly bracket is in the way. Because I installed this first, I'm going to use a wrench to hold and an Allen in the center. Don't over tighten it because you can rip the O-ring. Man, that looks so good. That looks so good. All right, now we need to modify the pedal assembly. Don't want to forget this piece, literally the last thing in the kit to install. There we go, nice and snug. I'm not going to install the line just yet. Probably going to do that when everything goes back into the car, so we can just route it directly to the slave instead of just letting it dangle there. Don't hoard this, don't hoard this. On the instruction, it says to cut along the line of the two metal together right there, and it goes all the way across, right? And then we got to cut this rod off as well too, because this is where the new pedal assembly is going to be sitting, and clean up all of these edges to ensure we have clearance, right? I'm actually kind of sad because it took me a while to even find this pedal assembly, a right-hand drive specific pedal assembly for my wagon, and this was like 250 bucks when I bought it back in the days. And it is actually pretty hard to find the 5-speed pedal assembly for, like, say, future right-hand drive swaps if your right-hand drive Firewall is automatic. So I honestly don't want to cut it, but I have no other choice. There's no turning back, obviously, because we already drilled the Firewall. So I'm going to cut it. If I had the automatic pedal assembly that I originally got with that Firewall, I could have used the automatic pedal assembly, which doesn't even have this section, and then I can just swap all the pedals over. But I'm pretty sure I threw it away a long time ago. So let's get to cutting. You guys can see the old clutch pedal is lobbed off and all the edges are nice and cleaned up. Kind of sad about it, but again, we do what we got to do. Right now I don't have the brake booster, but there are 2 mounting points that we can at least install the pedal assembly on for right now. One on the top and one right there at the bottom. There you guys have it, the OEM right-hand drive pedal assembly bolted back in. I'm probably going to take it off a couple more times, but bolted back in to show you guys the spacing between the gas, brake, and clutch. It looks like it sits at a very nice spot. I can bring the bracket up a little bit more because I mentioned earlier that the holes for the bracket is a little oval, so I can scoot it up. Right now it's currently all the way down. If this really bothered me, the height, I could adjust it accordingly, but I think it's good where it's at. And I don't know, I'm pretty stoked about it. I also did notice that because the clutch master is now on the Firewall side under the hood, we have a lot of clearance down here to rerun my OEM tube that goes from here to this vent over here. If you guys remember, we had a DIY one right there, and wait a second, I cut it up. I freaking cut it up. Oh well, at the end of the day, you know what, this vent still works. So I'm actually glad that, you know, we have all that clearance now. And if I do end up finding another OEM unit tube, you know, I'll probably, I don't know if I want to pull a dash back out or do all that. But anyways, I am super stoked to finally have the EF-ED conversion, hydro conversion for the right-hand drive specifically installed, and I cannot wait to feel how this feels compared to what I had before. Give you guys one more look of the adapter and S2K clutch master on the Firewall side with the block off plug. Dude, this thing, it's gonna look so good. It's gonna work so well. Have no doubt in mind. Ooh, I'm excited. Guys, I'm super excited. Once the subframe comes back, everything that pertains to the engine bay is gonna go back into the car. We can clear up the garage. We knocked out one of the biggest things that I wanted to do with the car today, which was to install the new hydro conversion provided by EF_ED conversion on Instagram. I said his name wrong earlier, but I will link all his stuff in the description below. If you guys have a right-hand drive car that want to go full hydro, whether you're a K-swap or a B with a hydro trans, be sure to check out their kit. Super fast shipping, very reasonable price, and you can buy it in different packages where you can just get the conversion if you want to get it with the new clutch master or slave with the block off plate. In case your car came automatic, you don't actually need the block off plate, but they do have like different bundle deals, so be sure to check them out if you want to convert your right-hand drive EF to full hydro. I know I've said it twice now, but I'll say it again. I'm kind of sad that I lobbed off this whole bracketry for the right-hand drive pedal assembly clutch pedal, but once I cut that Firewall, there's literally like no turning back. I mean, you can turn back, but you're gonna have an ugly hole in the wall. So regardless of the fact we went through with it, and I'm probably just gonna bag this up and put it away somewhere. Maybe 30 years down the road I want to weld it back together, I don't know, but I'm definitely gonna keep it around because you guys know I am a hoarder. The other thing I mentioned that I was sad about was removing the servo, because when I do drive the wagon, I do use it, right, to change the vents and everything, but to make the hydro conversion work, I had to remove it. I was trying to like maybe cut the tabs to push this in further to clear the bracketry, but the problem is this arm was already flush to the heater box control unit, and even if I was to able to clear the box, this would be bending to try to, like, you know, get this whole unit screwed back into the unit. So we do what we have to do. The lever is accessible from underneath the dashboard. If I want to change the vents, I can literally just push it. I could probably put a zip tie on it and just kind of move it around, but not a big deal. I don't drive the wagon enough to worry about it, and I do have it currently set to where I want the vents to blow the air in the direction I need it to go, so it is what it is. The other thing I said I was sad about was removing the servo unit altogether, right here in the Ziploc bag with all the hardware and everything. When I do drive the wagon, I do use all the functions, but to make the hydro conversion work, which is going to ease on my left foot, I had to sacrifice this. To make the entire unit work, I sacrificed this because at the end of the day, the lever is still accessible from underneath the dashboard. I can probably put like a little rod on it and just move it by hand if I wanted to change the vents, but it's currently set to where I want it to blow, and it's kind of one of those set it and forget it situations now. So I have this in the bag in case if I ever wanted to put it back in 30 years from now, I still have it. Anyways, guys, we're gonna wrap it up right here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Really just wanted to keep it hydro conversion related only, and in case you guys have a right-hand drive EF, you want to convert full hydro and you're using the EF-ED conversion kit, hopefully this video brings a little bit of clarity in case you guys forgot the instruction like I did in my email. But if you guys enjoyed today's progress update on my wagon, be sure to leave a thumbs up, and if you guys want to stick around for more progress on the wagon, I might have an EM1 coming in here in the next couple of days. If that falls through, then if you guys want to stick around and see some EM1 content, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.